Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. How are you? Have a good day, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, now we will come to today's news. I did a story talking about Karine Jean-Pierre might be on our way out, and how the Biden regime is looking to possibly replace her with John Kirby. And because of her failures as press secretary, well, she isn't the only one that is leaving. It looks like Ron Klain, the closest person to Biden that there is in the White House right now, it looks like he is going to go ahead and resign and get the heck out of Dodge before all of the crap hits the fan. With the Secret Service now willing to turn over visitor logs to the Republican Congress for further investigation to Joe Biden's handling of classified materials. And of course, the proximity of them to Hunter Biden and other foreign dignitaries who may have been visiting the Biden households while he was VP and also while he has been president and who may have had access to it. They know the writings on the wall. The rats are fleeing the ship, my friends. They are leaving because they don't want to be anywhere near this dumpster fire. So let's go and dive into what we have here. Coming to it from the Gateway Pundit. It's 100 rat flee the ship. Chief of Staff Ron Klain expected to step down following the State of the Union address by Joe Biden. The brains behind Biden, Ron Klain, is expected to step down in the coming weeks. Claimed was thought of as the force propping up Joe Biden and his failed illegitimate regime. He is expected to stay to help with the transition of his replacement. Playing with previously the Chief of Staff for VP Al Gore. VP Joe Biden playing famously said in 2014 that the elections were suspect, and we agree. Klain's departure comes as a blow to the Biden regime as the economy turned sour. Well, has been sour for a while, and the investigations into the Biden crime family heats up in the coming weeks. CNN reported the White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain, the powerful force at the center of Joe Biden's first 2 years in office, is expected to step down in the weeks after the president's State of the Union address. According to multiple people familiar with the matter, Klain's exact timeline is not or still not set, the sources said, and is expected to stay in the West Wing for a period of time to help with transition period. For his replacement, one of the people said the State of the Union address is set for February 7. Klain has long telegraphed his intent to leave at some point after the midterm election, noting publicly and in more detailed manner privately the grueling, exhausting nature of the position, but Klain's deeply ingrained presence in nearly every aspect of the West Wing, along with his decades-long relationship with Biden, has led some in the White House officials to urge him to stay in the role for an expected extended period of time. But he is out, and he is out. He does not want to be around when the subpoena starts to fly, when Congress decides to go ahead and start pulling up Biden officials in front of them to start answering questions and to see whether or not they're going to lie to keep your boss out of big trouble. So we'll see how this all turns out. But as of now, that's two high-profile individuals that will be leaving the White House here very soon. I expect more to follow as the fallout of Biden's crime spree continues to hit the White House. And then, the Daily Mail has just confirmed reports that President Joe Biden was named alongside his son Hunter Biden in an email regarding a Chinese energy deal. Back in 2017, Louisiana lawyer Robert Fennett stated via email that he requested a call between Texas energy giant Cheniere and the Biden family. The goal of the Biden family was to broker a deal where American natural gas assets would be sold to the Chinese Communist Party Energy Company, CEFC. Unfortunately for the Bidens, the deal never came to fruition as the CFC chairman was arrested on charges of bribery. This is just another piece of evidence that shows that Biden had intimate knowledge of his son Hunter's business dealings, and how they used his name in order to make money. So they wanted to sell out American natural gas to the Chinese Communist Party, and then have us buy it back. This was not a great deal. So I'm really glad that this fell through. But it really does make me wonder, why are all of these scandals starting to leak the very week that Biden was about to announce he's running for president? Is there someone or something that has it out and is trying to block him from this announcement or from being president? President Joe Biden has also continued to downplay his possession of classified documents from his time as Vice President. Biden stated, "I think you're going to find that there's nothing there. I have no regrets. I'm following what lawyers have told me they want me to do." It's just funny how he made a huge deal about top secret documents. And now that he's in the same position, he's downplaying it, oh, this is just nothing, we're gonna get this thing done. Don't you worry about it. Biden has still failed to answer why he had classified documents as a vice president in 4 different locations, and why the National Archives and President Obama were unaware that he had taken these national security documents. Former President Donald Trump has chastised the Republican Party for aiming to cut Social Security and Medicare. Trump stated under no circumstance should Republicans cut a single penny from Medicare or Social Security to help pay for Joe Biden's reckless spending spree. However, the Democrat National Committee spokesman Ryan Lay criticized Trump for being a hypocrite. He stated Donald Trump's own record speaks for itself. Every year he was in office, Trump proposed cuts to Social Security and Medicare programs. With Trump's recent comments, some are wondering whether he has had a change of heart now that he's actually been president and dealt with the pushback from the American people. Trump counseled Republicans to look at cutting foreign spending before cutting Social Security. All right, now I have some big stories, including stuff about Putin and the World Economic Forum. The country of Japan's health division has announced that COVID is nothing more than a seasonal flu, and that the Japanese people should be careful, but should return to all normal living behaviors. Dr. Ween Lien was a prominent guest on CNN that openly talked about COVID. The media absolutely loved her because she was willing to scare the crap out of people every time she went on air, about people getting sick, about people dying. Well, now she's getting pushback from the same cheerleaders that cheered her on during the entire lockdown. She is saying that the US government is overcounting the actual number of people that have died with COVID, or of COVID. This is what I'm talking about. It gets a little bit semantic on the way that you look at it. She said she didn't know that the government was counting people that died with COVID as well as people that died of COVID or from COVID. She said there is a big difference, and now she's being vandalized for not upholding the narrative. In fact, Georgia's chapter for infectious disease said the US government was way overcounting deaths. If someone died from cancer, and they had COVID, it was labeled COVID. If someone died from gangrene in their foot, but they had COVID, it was labeled a death from COVID. The head of the group said that close to 90% of COVID hospitalizations were actually for other reasons, but the people tested positive for having COVID whether they displayed symptoms or not. Now you'll never guess who was seen at the World Economic Forum meeting with the unelected billionaires in Davos, Switzerland, the head of the FBI. Christopher Wray was there. He told the crowd the FBI will continue to use social media companies to keep tabs on the country and the American people. He said it's been a great tool for the FBI. The head of Seaman Manufacturing, also Spa Seaman, is like a radiology company. Right? And he's not, he has manufacturing saying, okay, this is going crazy. Okay. He spoke at the World Economic Forum, and he said 1 billion humans need to stop eating meat immediately. Our climate change will kill all of us. He suggested people get comfortable with eating bugs, seaweed, algae, and cactus. The World Economic Forum also said they will be showing countries how to replace beef with beetle bug burgers that tastes pretty good and still have lots of protein in the bugs' bodies. Are you guys willing to eat bugs? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, let me keep going. Someone from the Netherlands said that these economically hard times have actually been really good for the people and for the planet. Because it has kept them from being able to afford meat or family vacations or driving in their car. What a jerk. I'll guarantee you this same guy flies home on a private jet. He says, oh, don't eat any meat and don't have any fun and don't go on vacation and then don't have a car with a gas engine. And then he flies home on a private jet. Sheesh. Now remember, these elite, they tell you how to live in order to save the planet. But then they don't live the same way that they tell you to live. It's total hypocrisy. I'm talking about people like John Kerry. All the leaders in the government, right? They're all saying, oh, you have to live this certain way. And then they live the total opposite way. I guarantee you. These guys were having really nice steak dinners in Switzerland. Big beefy burgers. They were not going, hey, let's have this meeting about climate change. And then let's go eat a beetle burger or let's go eat a bunch of grasshoppers. I guarantee you that was not happening. So they laughed at us for struggling financially, higher prices, higher bills, and then they tell us to stop enjoying your life. Stop eating meat, stop going on vacation. It's absolute insanity. These people are the law neural worst. Now, despite massive pushback against Donald Trump, he is still most likely to win as the Republican candidate in 2024. According to new data, A new Harvard Taps Harris poll showed that Trump leads DeSantis by 20 points. Trump has 48% support, DeSantis has only 28% support. Pence has 7% and all other candidates have less than 5%. So there's still some people that are speculating whether Mike Pence will run for president. But based off these numbers, I don't know that he would get very far. With our national debt skyrocketing, the United States is preparing to approve another $2.6 billion to Ukraine, including a new military package, which would have 150 armored combat vehicles. At this point, America is wanting to supply tanks to Ukraine, which will undoubtedly put us at even larger odds with the country of Russia. Now, yesterday, Ukrainian President Zelensky floated the idea that Vladimir Putin was dead. This set the internet off. Oh my gosh, Putin is dead. We don't know whether that's true or not. The Kremlin has responded and said Putin is alive and Zelensky should keep his mouth shut. Now, Ukrainians' top military people say they have gotten wind through back-channel communication of Putin's new plan. And it's not looking good for Ukraine. Ukraine is begging for tanks, guns and ammunition. So first off, they say that they intercepted news out of Moscow that Putin is about to order massive airstrikes on unknown cities across Ukraine. So now they've told their people, hey, you might be getting hit with massive missile attacks. But we don't know which city, so they've set their people into a massive panic. And this most likely will happen right now. Second, they've learned that Putin and the Russian Federation Army plan to encircle the top cities of Ukraine, including the capital of Kyiv. Using a three-pronged approach, Putin will have a military advancement come down from the country of Belarus in the north. Then over on the east side of Ukraine, they're going to have their main military group start to push in and put pressure on the west. And then this is like the Donbass region. And then lastly, Putin will have a military advancement head north from the area of Crimea. And then so what they're going to do is they're going to have like a 250-degree circle coming in, and then they're going to squeeze down on the capital. Now the Joint Chief of Staff General Milley at the Pentagon said he believes Ukraine will find it nearly impossible to drive back Russian troops from Ukraine in 2023. He said that they will only get closer and closer to the capital. Now the point is to corner Zelensky and other major defense forces. Once this is done, Russia will take Ukraine. Now this is just the plan that's being laid out that Ukraine intercepted. The Pentagon says they believe it's true. I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen. I'm not saying that Ukraine isn't going to use our weapons and money to fight like crazy to make this not be the case. But this is the intel and the Pentagon's reaction to the intel, and they're basically just telling Zelensky, it's going to be next to impossible to push the Russian Federation Army out of Ukraine. Now, they've just recently taken the area of Soledar. And so Russia is feeling very optimistic about their military actions. And it looks like they're ready to double down. And so that's the big news coming out of Ukraine and Russia. The major stock indexes were all green and positive today. However, we are living in strange times because the stocks are up while Silicon Valley and other major tech companies are laying off tens of thousands of workers. In fact, just today, Google announced they will lay off 12,000 people in order to keep the company making billions and billions of dollars in profits. Now, I love the stock market. I love the American dream. But this is where capitalism kinda breaks down, because in order to continue to generate billions of dollars in profit for shareholders, they have to ruin the lives of 12,000 people and fire them, let them go, and so it's really hard because these are the people that do the work. And these are the people that receive the benefit and the money, right? And this is where there's kind of a breakdown in capitalism. But yeah, tens of thousands of tech workers are being laid off from Amazon, Microsoft. And now Google just announced another 12,000 people out of work. Hopefully you folks enjoyed this chat this morning. Thank you very much. God bless America.